speakers program. I'd like to welcome you to our 11th lecture of the fall quarter. Today, to introduce Swami Janardan, we have with us Mr. Bob Fisher, who has been a writer and producer for television, movies, Broadway for 27 years. He recently did The Impossible Years, and which he produced, and he wrote the Jack Benny special. Very recently, he co-authored the musical on Broadway, Minnie's Boys, which was the story of the Marx Brothers. He's a disciple of Swami Janardan, and he will be able to tell you more about the Swami. So right now I would like to introduce Mr. Fisher.
Why don't you come on in and sit down? You can leave any time you want. Fine. We're delighted that you could be with us today to share the knowledge of this very beautiful man seated here before you. He is the Guru Janardan, and he comes to us from the Himalayas, from a very modest ashram. He is a pure man. He does not speak English. He speaks the language of purity, love. He is a self-realized man at one with the universe. A demonstration of the Guruji's feeling about oneness. Can all of you hear me without this? Okay, I feel more comfortable without it. As a demonstration of his feeling of oneness, because all is one, and so he teaches. Two young people saw him as he passed in a car, so they stuck their hand out of the car and went like this to him. And he said, "No, one." His background is rather fascinating. As a Westerner, I always thought that the Indian guru, well, was like instantly spiritual from the time he was born, because we have instant everything here. I rather envisioned that as a young child of 5, that perhaps he sat in front of a universal television set and tuned in on God instead of Sesame Street. Such is not the case, as I learned from his disciple Ramesh, who's been with him for 13 years. He was a young boy at 12 when he did wish to know the meaning of life and death, because he was shocked by the death of his father, and he did do some searching. He did not get very far with this. His life took him into Gandhi's, one of Gandhi's followers. He was an anarchist. He fought with a gun against the British. And quite a soldier, a violent man. And he had met his guru the first time. The guru's picture is right there. He's 96 years old and alive. He had met his guru through a dream the first time, or a vision, and did not want to join him then. He had been disappointed too many times in his life as a follower of anybody. He met him again in person, and the guru said to him, "I have something to teach you that is more powerful than your gun." Guruji would not believe this. He says, "I have something to teach you. It is spiritual." He says, "What will I get from this?" The Guruji wanted to know. He says, "You will know all. You will have all knowledge. You will know all that there is to be known in this universe." And at that point, with the foresight and the understanding of a true spiritual man, he says, "All right, teach me this or I'll kill you." Well, he learned it, and he did not kill. He is a self-realized man. He is here with a message that man must destroy himself if he does not attend to his spiritual growth. And he's here with a purpose, to demonstrate the enormity of the spiritual power. He will do this in front of doctors, scientists, television cameramen, and newspaper reporters when the time comes for this happening, as a demonstration of his power that he has been given at this time. We are all presently living in an apartment that is given to us by a man who is in the hospital. 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks and 2 days perhaps, this man was a terminal case. On a Sunday, the doctors announced that he must die on Monday and gave up all hope. The Guruji came in with Ramesh for 3 minutes. He said the man will not die Monday. He will not die at all. And that was 3 weeks ago. The man has increasingly, steadily, and slowly regained his strength. He is on his way to recovery. This is no miracle of the Lord where you throw away a crutch or something like that and walk away. It may be sometimes, but not necessarily. This is a steady healing process where the Guruji appears at that hospital once or twice a day. Yesterday, Ramesh told me that the doctors, and this is quite something, for the first time admitted that the Guru must be doing something to make their patient well. They held a conference to discover what it was. It is so terribly simple. It is. That's what it was. The Guruji, however, is not just here to heal. He is here to share his knowledge with us. And that knowledge which led to his own self-realization, and which he will instruct those of you who wish to be instructed in, it lies in the breathing. The beauty of this system of breathing is that if you have religious beliefs, you do not have to change them. If you do not have religious beliefs, you do not have to acquire them. If you have a guru at present, you do not have to change him or your method of meditation. This system of breathing will enhance whatever you are doing, or whatever your method is, and make more things possible more swiftly. This includes your health, your psychiatric well-being, your psychic well-being. Later, if you wish, I will tell you some personal experiences I've had in this. Now, to tell about the discovery, rather the rediscovery of this method of breathing, because it is thousands of years old, and the Guruji's research for the past 40 years, he has managed to consolidate it so that he can teach it. To tell about this is Ramesh, his disciple for 13 years, who's here from India with him. It's a great personal pleasure to introduce my friend Ramesh.
Before I begin to say something, I shall ask Guruji to begin with prayer, and he will speak something. Before I begin something to say about his background theory that he knows, I will ask Guruji to have a prayer, and then he will speak something, and then after I finish, you can ask questions directly from Guruji, and I will translate it into Hindi for him. एक प्रार्थना शुरू करिए। गुरुजी प्रार्थना करिए।
सहस्रारे प्रणतारे रक्तपद्मस्थितं विनक्तं दिव्यं ध्येयं क्षितिशुद्धिसम्भ्रमम् ओङ्कारवक्ते अकरहतर्थं
और थोड़ा सा आप कुछ बोलिए तो अच्छा रहेगा, कुछ बोलिए।
देखिए, आप समस्त भद्रमंडली भाषा मातृगण में उपस्थित है। हम हिंदी एवं बंगाली जानते हूँ, हम इंग्लिश नहीं जानते हैं। तो आप लोग निजी गुण क्षमा करिए। आज प्रैक्टिकल जो चीज़ है, ये बच्चा को हम 12 साल से सिखाया है। ये हमारा भीतर का क्या चीज़ है, आप लोग को जिसका जो प्रश्न है, प्रश्नों का उत्तर देंगे। एवं आप लोग प्रश्न करने से हम उत्तर देंगे कि हमको इच्छा है, जो प्रकृति जगत क्या है और आप लोग हम लोग क्या है, ये हम प्रचार करने पाएंगे।
Guruji says that he does not know English, but he knows Hindi and Bengali mixed. but he has a practical experience, he says. He has practical knowledge, but not the knowledge of theory. So I will speak about the theory, but he will tell the practical aspect of it completely if somebody asks practical questions after that. आप बैठिए. Now, as you know, Bob has said, Robert Fisher has said right now that Guruji's father died, and after his death he met another leader in Chittaranjan Das, who was a freedom fighter, and when he died it shocked him so much that he began to know something deeper in the life, and that is what is life and what is death. So he searched intensely, and ultimately he found a guru, a master, and to whom he said, either tell me something or I will shoot you. That is what, there was an agreement, you can say, and the guru accepted and he got something. Guruji says that spirituality is science from the very beginning, and it has some basis. I would like to say something about the searches conducted by the sages 5,000 years ago on this very aspect of life, or I can say the basis of our living. They, in the very beginning, said to themselves that and asked some questions from the world, that what is this, what is that, and after inquiring something from the nature, they said, who is asking this question? They were rather puzzled that I am asking a question from the nature. So they said, it is better to know first what I am, because we must establish our basis first, and then we will begin our search of nature. So instead of beginning their search on nature, the outside world, they begin their search on man. That was the basis of their intense search. In the beginning, they said what man is. So they saw the human body to find out the essence which is keeping us alive. But inside the body, in the body, they didn't find anything in the form of essence. After not finding anything in the body, they went a little further and they found something in breath. They found breath leaves body and man dies. And of course it is a true fact that they discovered, and it is known to all of us even in the modern time. But they were not satisfied with this breath. They said, what is this breath? What is that which is keeping us alive? So they begin to search out breath, and in their search they first found that in breathing, that we inhale some air in and exhale it out. But finding the air inside the breathing, they did not get satisfaction. They said, what it is not known to us. Perhaps some air goes in, or what is that? It may be a mechanical thing. So they did a deep search on it, and after a close observation, they really found something which we have not found yet in the modern time. And that is, they found that we breathe in two ways. That is, one is through nose, the other is through mouth. When we breathe through mouth, say when we are exhausted or excited, or when we come after a run, we breathe like this. They of course found the air that we breathe in and breathe out, but inside the air they heard some sounds which are audible to you at present if you find the same thing, if you watch closely. If you can find out, you will hear the sounds. What are these sounds? And perhaps these sounds are ah and ha. Just imitate your breathing, that we breathe through mouth. say when we come after a run or exhausted or excited, we breathe like this, and with the air we hear some sounds, and these sounds are aha. I think it is clear to all of us. The other way of breathing that we have, normally we breathe through nose. All the time we breathe through nose, and if we watch our nose breathing, we will certainly hear some sounds, because we have heard some sounds in mouth breathing. So please watch your breathing through nose, and you will hear the sounds. What are these sounds? And perhaps it is mm-hmm. We very often say mm-hmm, but it's a fact that we do. All this sound is and after doing a search on this breathing, on these sounds, they said, let us find out whether any other man breathes like the same way or not. So they generalized, and they found, with quite a bit of surprise, that every human being in the world, irrespective of caste, creed, dogmas, belief, or nationality, breathes these same sounds, aha and mm-hmm. And perhaps nobody can deny the fact that is clear from this way of breathing that we do all the time. But after finding these sounds in the breath, they said, what comes out of it? Of course we breathe like this. It is a natural fact of our life. We live, we walk, we do this and that. What comes out of this? So they begin their search a little deeper, and really they found something in these sounds. Perhaps you will find the same thing which they found in ancient time, because they said their wisdom is eternal. It never changes. It is the same as it was in ancient time. So you will find, if you watch carefully, that we are inhaling through mouth a sound known as ah, while we are exhaling through mouth a quite different sound, that is ah. Here again, if you watch your nose breathing, we are inhaling sound while we are exhaling a quite different sound, that is And if you are a little clever, you will say right now, but what is this? It is a duplication. Cancel it out. You will say cancel it out. And even then, you will find that a new sound is coming out which we have not inhaled. We are inhaling through mouth, ah, and inhaling through nose, but we are not exhaling, inhaling this S sound which is coming out extra. We have not inhaled it, but it is coming out. And it is a fact, nobody can deny it. The sages said, from where is it coming out? We must know its cause. What is the reason? We have not inhaled something, and nothing can come out of nothing. There must be a reason behind it. So after intense search, they found something miraculous, I can say, and that is, they said, sound H, which is coming out with the exhalation from each of our breath, is prana. They said, hakarastu smratah prana. Hakar, sound H, or ha, actually it is ha, not H. So sound ha is prana, or the energy. So what are we doing now? What are we doing now? We are exhaling prana, and Guruji says right now it is the universal prana, the universal flow of energy in the form of H, ha sound. Of course, if an individual breathes like this and he inhales these four sounds, and every individual in the world is breathing the same sounds, so perhaps ha is the world prana, or the vital essence of the whole world. And it is clear, that's what he said right now. So energy H, or ha, they said is prana, and it is clear to us that we are exhaling the life force. If we take in a scientific term, we can say the world exists in opposition. Scientifically speaking, we say attraction and repulsion is going on throughout the world, but the force of repulsion is greater than the force of attraction. That's why the world is going towards destruction. Sages realized the same thing in ancient time, that we are exhaling prana, the life force. So we are going towards destruction, slowly and gradually, according to the plan of the nature. They said, what shall we do right now? So they were much concerned with it. The reason behind is that they said human being is the highest in the highest in the world. He is the highest in the flow in the what is the evolution, you can say. So if he is losing energy and he is going to do many activities in life, and he will do these things, whatever activity he does, what will happen? He is taking all these energies towards destructive actions, and perhaps in a very short period he will destroy the world. They were very conscious of this, because it is the basis of our living. Nobody can deny that breath, inside the breath is the sounds, and inside the sound is the sound edge which is coming out, and it is a practical thing of life. And if it is coming out like this, perhaps we will destroy and we will go towards destruction more quickly. So they said, let us check this flow from the very beginning, because other things that we will do in the world, it's just the product of our own existence. So they said, they invented a method for it. They tried all sorts of methods of inhalation. They said, we will not exhale. They said, we will not exhale. So they inhaled. But anyhow, after some time, everybody has to exhale, and they could not check their flow of exhalation. So what shall we do? Nature has given such a system, and nature says we have to go towards destruction. They said, no, we have to find out something. And they were rather very scientific in their approach, we can say. They found a principle of life, that every action has a reaction. We act in a certain way and we get reaction of it. They said, why don't we react in a certain way that we could be able to keep our energy, which is going out. And take an example, perhaps they found at that same time also. They took a ball, they threw the ball downwards. The more they throw, the more the ball bounces. The more it bounces. Or we can say, we wanted to take a rocket to moon. How shall we take? We have to create millions and millions of pounds of thrust downward in the opposite direction, and the rocket will go to moon. The sages said, oh, that is a good idea. So what shall we do? They invented, therefore, a method of exhalation instead of a method of inhalation. They said, why don't we create a thrust in the breathing? The moment we create a thrust in the breathing, automatically the energy, the whole process will reverse. See, now take a practical example. We are breathing in and breathing out. This is our flow. This is what we are doing. And inside the breath, there are vibrations. So we are inhaling and exhaling it. The sages said, oh, when we create a thrust, what will happen? The reverse process will start and the vibration will go up. The more it goes up, the more we will be able to understand, we will be able to conserve the energy. And ultimately they reached to a certain state. Then they found that inside the breath was a flow of the vibration in the form of this way. And when they created a thrust downward, automatically the vibration began to condense. The more it condensed, the more it became swift. Means they cut the wavelength. And the more it goes up, the more it became sensitive. And later on, they arrived at a certain state, which we say as self-realization, when the whole vibration reduced to a point. Conceive the idea when a vibration will become a point. Perhaps it is very amazing to understand it. What is vibration? Vibration is a state deviation from rest. That is what we understand. So we are restless, of course, the moment we are born. And since we are in search of life and death, to understand the source from where we have come, the sages found the source by condensing the vibration. They condensed the vibration. The more they condensed, the more they became frequent. And ultimately they reached to a state when they understood that the attraction and repulsion in the form of inhalation and exhalation came closer and closer, and ultimately they came so much closer, the whole vibration reduced to point. And that is the state of self-realization. The spiritual people, the spiritual masters say that individual and divine, God becomes one. Of course it becomes one. What is God and what is individual? If you say scientifically attraction and repulsion, both keeps life. Without attraction or without repulsion, we can't even exist. Both must exist in form to make reality. So they condensed, when they condensed, bridged the gap and came closer, they really reached to Godhood. That man becomes God. That's why the sages said, I am that. Means there is no difference between I and the God. We are the same spirit of God is flowing within us. And that's why the sages, not only the Indian sages I can say, the sage everywhere in the world, even in Bible we see that in the beginning was the Word was with God, and Word was God. And that Word, which was God, was the word, practical word of life. It was not concerned with a book that has, or you can say the book has 26 letters of alphabet, and we permutate and combinate it in millions and millions of ways and make millions and millions of books for nothing, I can say. And the sages said, no, what is the need? From where the first alphabet came, from where the first language came, they understood the practical language of man, which is common and universal, irrespective of any distinctions. They understood it, condensed it, they reached to the source, and they understood the whole reality behind it. So the sages, so their word was practical. In India, it was said, Shabda Brahma. The word is Logos. Word Shabda means Logos, and Brahma means God. Shabda is God. But they had a little theory behind it, practical experiences. So they understood more clearly by these method of breathing and found something remarkable in that. So I think it is quite enough to give an idea of it, what Guruji says, but it seems so simple, but inside it there are 49 vibrations of sound which also comes up at conscious level the moment the vibration begin to condense. So they understand all the 49 vibration of life instead of one or two vibration. As we say, we become specialized in one subject of life, say physics, chemistry and this and that, but they understood the whole vibration of life. And perhaps by this reason Guruji said in the hospital, oh, he can die. This man can die because I know his vibrations. Because he knew the source from where it emanates and where it goes. That's the whole idea. Now you can ask some question if you have any, and I will translate it to Hindi to Guruji, and that will be all nice. Yeah. Of course you are feeling them.
No, another feeling.
Why not? I shall ask Guruji directly, or I shall give. See, we can feel them because you are the same what I am. There is no difference. Of course, if you raise your vibration to that limit, you are living in this limit. In this limit of vibration, which are fluctuating in this. And perhaps I am living in this way of limit. So how can you understand me? Till you come to my limit. That is it. You just identify myself with your vibration, leaving your own distinctions that is in the form of language. You will understand me immediately. Do you think that you see through your eyes?
Can't you see them?
Can't you? Of course not. Of course. Your eye can't see. A dead man's body is there. His eye sees? No, not at all. Because there is something more basic is there inside you, which eye is just the instrument through which you are going to see. You understand? So inside the eye, inside your body, there is something which they found. That sees, not your eye sees. It has just the outer manifestation. Yes, you can say body, inside the body breath. Inside the breath you see the sound. So sheet after sheet. Yeah, please. You can say, yes.
Yeah, you know, you said the sages, when they understood what reality was, what did they do with it? I mean, when they understood it, then what?
What is the purpose of your living?
That's a good question.
Of course. What you have to know, you born ignorant and you wanted to know this and that. The sages say, what shall I do for this and that? First, we are the mystery. Let me understand me. So their search began with me, with them. The scientists said, in the modern times, as we are doing searches, there's no, neglect you. See here and there, what is that, what is that? So they begin their search on this. The little difference, that's all. I said to you, it is a method of trust.
The actual instruction in the breathing will be given to those physicians later after the disorder. At which time, they one piece of fruit, one lard, and a donation of whatever you want to that.
You can ask here.
A large majority of the people in the world have asthma and they reach enlightenment.
What do we say?
A lot of people have asthma
Yeah.
and they reach enlightenment.
Shall I ask Guruji? That will be nice. बहुत से लोगों को एज़मा है, बहुत से लोगों को एज़मा की बीमारी है, वो ठीक हो सकते हैं कि नहीं?
जरूर.
We say yes, surely. You said something.
How should we look at the mind in reference to the vital power you're referring to? Like you say, you don't see.
हाँ, ये attraction.
एक मिनट, वो कुछ पूछ रहे हैं. एक मिनट.
You don't see it with your eyes. In science, in our way of thinking, we say we see with our mind. So how do we correlate this to the vital energy you're talking about?
आप कुछ बोलना चाहते थे कि हम बोले अभी? I will ask again for your question. Guruji wants to say something since this question has come. आप कुछ बोलना चाहते हैं क्या? Yeah. I will say to you.
Attraction and repulsion जिसका आधार है, तो जीवन का जितना बेटिया सब attraction and repulsion है.
If the attraction and repulsion is the basis of your living, it is the basis of your living. So what is disease? Malfunctioning of certain vibration in you. That's all. So we correct it and everything will be all right. Now, your question is very good. We have a lot of problem with our searches that we say mind is something very highest. We really don't know the term, what is the meaning of mind. It is just when we have born, somebody told us the language and said, this mind is this. That's all. Sages said, we don't really know this and that. We must know something which is keeping us alive. And perhaps the idea of mind is the same idea of the sages when they said, what is that which is keeping us alive? So my idea of mind and the researches conducted by the sages in the breathing were the same thing. There was no distinction. Because it seems so simple in the breath that there are 4 sounds. But of course, if you go ahead a little further, you will find that the vibration which flows from here to the base of his spine, and all vibration from here to the low constructs the mind, the whole mind, means the basis of our living. If you wanted to segment it, just cut it by saying mind lives here, mind is here and not here, it will be a wrong idea, because it is the flow, complete flow. Or you can say, when we are excited, when a child borns, say when we are in sex, and what happens really, that our breath does not go in normal way, that is nose breathing. We breathe through mouth at that time, and we breathe like this, violently. The sages put a limit of the vibration by saying I is the first and Ha is the last. And in between there are 47 vibrations. So you are just transmitting 49 vibration to another man. Then again, so he comes a full human being and he has complete. These 49 vibrations construct the whole thing. But who made the flow of the vibration, who caused to flow? That was the vibration, first vibration they called first span, that is Ha. So mind is, according to them, the vibration, spun. First vibration.
Now, can we get some clarity as to, in some way, can you give us some qualities, like we talk about telepathy and clairvoyance? What other qualities can we give to this central essence?
बोलते हैं कि हमारे अंदर किस किस तरह का ज्ञान हो सकता है, छठी इंद्री का ज्ञान हो सकता है कि नहीं, और बहुत सी तरह की चीजें हैं कि नहीं हो सकती।
छठा इंद्रियों तो साधारण है, नहीं वो छाड़ा के आज जो आएगा कोई मारात्मक है तो गुड नॉट बैड।
Guruji says that the basis that we see that there are five senses, of course they are, but who is making the function of these senses? It is the basis. And when we say that we are going to cut the wavelength of the vibration or condense the vibration, it means that we are making it sensitive. So we are going higher to the limit of these senses working. It is conditioned, but since we are touching the basis which is the cause of our existence, so we are making it more sensitive. So or naturally telepathic power, clairvoyance and all these things come naturally. It's just not something very special in it. Guru says by doing 6 months you can have all knowledge of it, that you will feel the vibration, you understand clearly, identify immediately. The way that is said by Guruji sometimes is, if we want to understand you, we can understand there is a way to it. If we silent our own vibrations, means our own conditioning, you can say, what will happen? The vibrations emitted by this gentleman will come to us. Of course they are coming. Immediately we will understand what is he. So this is the whole ground of it. आपसे ये पूछ रहे हैं कि आप चिलम जो हैं स्मोकिंग करते थे कि नहीं करते हैं? Smoking. Guru says yes, I smoked once. But Guru says I did not use any drug. I used smoking. Bidi is in an Indian smoking, Indian cigars, you can say. Indian cigarette. Cigarette. Chilam, वो जो chilam, yeah. But not with any drug. It was just the leaf, that is tobacco. Yeah. गुड, अच्छा और बुरा के बीच में आपका क्या कहना है? अच्छा, क्या चीज अच्छी है, क्या बुरी है?
जगत में
good and evil is this, front and back.
not good, not bad.
There is no such thing like good and bad. It is the same part of the reality. It is our way of perspective. By change of vibration, everything changes. We make something that it is good. Guru says that sometimes we change our vibration, we put certain values on some things and we say it is good now. But after some time we change it and make certain other values, then other. So it depends on you. You change your vibration and the whole good and bad changes. Yeah, you can ask. He's asking a question. Yes, you are. सांस रोकने के से कुछ फायदा होता है? सांस को रोकने से कुछ फायदा होता है? No. What is the use of pressing? But if you hold the breath, the repercussion will be more violent, more disturbance. Guruji says, if you practically hold the breath, means automatically it shrinks. Then it becomes silent. It becomes more silent.
निजी अनुभव करे, जिस समय परिश्रम करते हैं, जिस समय कितनी वेग से शरीर को तकलीफ हो जाती है.
See, even when we work hard by some labor, you see, at that time we also feel some trouble in the body. Of course, we breathe like. So it is, of course, not natural to our living.
What happens when things come to you, if you remember and listen, and things start coming to you and you start hearing it?
What is that?
What is that? Well, if you stop your thought processes and then start receiving thought, stop making a conscious effort of thinking about things, what is that?
What is thought?
There are thoughts from other levels of being like this.
No, there is no such thing like other level. The moment you are born with all vibrations. Don't you think that a child has no knowledge? Otherwise you can't have any knowledge in your life. He has the primitive knowledge, on that you are building your knowledge, the knowledge of imagination, say 26 letters of word. So the knowledge, the primitive thing is there, that's why he is responding to it. Otherwise he can't respond. Do you think that a stone can respond to something? Impossible. So there is already there, the thought is already there. When we impose we say, no, the child has no thought. Of course he has everything that you have right now. What he has not, that is, he does not know your language of 26 letters of sound, letters. That's all. But he has everything. And perhaps you have not those things which a child has got, I can say. So thought builds after these combinations of this language, say 26 letters of words, sentences. That comes thought. Then we say superimpose. We say, oh, build on thinking and thinking. But we have to find out the first thinking from where all thinking began. Source thinking, you know. And that is really not thought. It is the basis. Yeah.
Once you have become sensitive to your own vibration, you don't then become sensitive to other people's vibrations around you,
Yeah, of course.
and then that's how you get the communication.
Yeah, that's correct. We all have such type of communication in the form of, say, when we are very much in love of someone, then we understand something, what is vibrating in his heart and what is vibrating in you. But it is just accidental, you can say. All the time it does not happen. But if you have the mechanism, have the ability to work on these vibrations, practically, perhaps you will understand all the time something. And then it becomes frequent, natural. Yeah.
Can you become one if the breathing right, but the air that you breathe is full of smog?
Oh, that's very good question. Only 1.5 months ago, when we came to this city, we were staying in Hotel Ambassador for some days, 15 days. Then what I found, that I felt some irritation in the eyes and water comes out. I said, what is the reason? And then I have some trouble in the chest also. What is that? I said to myself, what is that? I have never such thing in my life. And since I am doing this, and the sages said, by doing this you must not have any disease afterwards, so I must not have at least this type of disease which may take me away from the world, you see. So I asked Guruji, what is this? After 4 or 5 days, I said it may be due to some reason, say tomorrow, 3rd day, 4th day. Then I asked Guruji, and Guruji said, oh, there is something here in the vibrations of this place, here outside. Said, instead of inhaling too much, instead of doing in this way that you are doing the breathing, you exhale a little more in this way. He showed the way how to exhale. And really after that, I didn't find anything, no trouble since then. And the moment I feel a little something, the moment I begin and I cure myself, heal myself. And I am sure that everybody can do the same. And if it should go to the doctors for verification, I will be delighted. Guruji will be delighted, because they said By knowing that, you will understand everything, and there must not be any disease. So perhaps that will be a good verification to the people.
I've discovered since I've done that, my energy level is higher, and I do not fatigue from the poison of the smog. It's a simple process once you understand everything. Everyone can do it.
You are doing already, I can say.
You got a head start. You're breathing.
Yeah.
Why is it necessary to wear glasses?
See,
He is
yeah.
void of all infirmity. Why is it necessary that you wear glasses?
गुरुजी,
Why
आप क्यों चश्मा पहने हैं पूछते हैं.
भाई हम तो बहुत बुरी चलाया जीवन में.
He says, when I was at the age of 45 and 50, I used to fight, talk, do and many things. Because of my own karmas,
40 साल उम्र तक गवर्नमेंट का साथ इंग्रज का साथ लड़ा हूँ.
Guru says, I fought with the British government, and I did
दिन नहीं कहाँ से कहाँ तक.
from morning till night, and I troubled myself like anything, and ultimately this came to my eyes. And since it has come recently, only 2 years ago. Before that, he has no such thing like this.
चश्मा हमको विशेष जरूरत नहीं है.
Guru says, of course, it is not very necessary. Sometimes he used to say, do you think that I see from eyes? He says like this. And of course, if you live with him, perhaps you will notice that he will know many things you don't know, or you have acted in that place or other place. He will say everything, as if he is looking you very closely and knows all your activities.
If I'm sitting in my bedroom and I'm disturbed, he's in there like a flash. He knows the disturbance. He feels the vibration of it.
It's not, yeah.
You teach the proper method of living in India. How come there is so much suffering in India? Children are dying of hunger and so on and so forth.
हिंदुस्तान में जब हम लोगों को ये तरीका मालूम था, तो हम लोग क्यों इसमें दुख उठा रहे हैं?
कहाँ भारतवर्ष दुखी है. दुखी तुम लोग हो. रुपया रमेश जी.
Guru says, India is not in trouble, means unpeaceful, restless. It is also peaceful, and it is more.
But shouldn't it be taught in school then?
See, what happened really to our country also, I can say, practically, very practically, that the system was such that we classified society in 4 orders. 25 years of age that we have to do and study. After 25 years, living in the world. Then after 25 years, we have to live in the world, and at the same time we are spiritual. Then after 25 years, we have to become completely spiritual. We completely broke this tradition. So there is. And other way is that we believed much in the, say, 500 or 700 years ago about karma. We said, oh, God will do. So we became rather inactive, of course. So these are the karmas.
You mean it's going to change the whole world? Will eventually change the world?
It will, of course. It will have to.
हाँ 20 वर्ष कितनी अग्रसर हुआ. पृथ्वी पे लौटते हैं.
Guru says that these teachings, which were the source teaching of India, even India does not know, I can say rather, very much. It's not aware. Many things are there at the same time, but the source teaching of the sages are not known. But for the first time, it is coming so easily, means Guruji gives instruction to everyone. But this is the same teaching of Ramakrishna Paramhans and all these people. They knew practically, and they made, how much disciple you know? 2. The other made 3, other made 1. Why? They said, oh, everyone is not ready for this, taking this method, this thing. But the state had come. When the destruction is at peak, the source teaching of spirituality must come at peak. So, and what will happen later on after destruction? Of course it will take place, nobody can stop it. But still somebody will left. So there will never be a total annihilation. That's the whole idea behind it. That's why many people come here and do many things. We are talking of peace like anything right now. Of course we are not doing it. And we will not. Of course, we have to die first. Then we will learn, not before. Pranava? What is pranava? Yeah. What is pranava? You know? What do you know? Why pranava or om? On what ground? Oh, means somebody told you, or you have read a book or from India, and perhaps you said, oh, om is the highest sound, because they said. We are such a foolish people in the world. We say that the sages said, so we must accept. That is our old fall that we have done. But now, I can give you the example of really. That's why I question you, don't we? It is not finished, please. So they really found something. And from where the sound om came, you know, it's a very practical sound. And they said, you can't utter this sound with your relative organs, say tongue, tip, or lips, or teeth, or anything. But it is just practical sound of life. From where has it come, you know? Watch again your breathing. Come on again. You will find something. See, take one sound each from your breath. Just take common sound. Just take common sound. A, one A. There are many A's. One take the one U, one take one N, and take one H. 4 sounds make om. And what is ha? You know what is ha? H is vibration. They said you can't understand om, which is the eternal sound, eternal, till you condense the vibration or the sound H to point. The moment it becomes point, all the 3 sounds join and it becomes om. This is the science behind it. But no, never the ohms you can't understand in the life the ohm sound till you condense the vibration H. It was the first. It begins from here, they said, and it goes to the base of the spine now. So we have to raise it again to go back, and again we are om. Sound eternal. What is goal? We have to understand, our goal of life is to understand world in relation to us, what we are and what is this world. The goal of our life and the purpose of our living is to understand world in relation to us, but not to understand world without individual. This is not the goal of our life. So the goal of life is this, of course, to understand what is life and what is death. Then, you wanted to know death? Very simple. When I said first vibration is H or ha, it flows from here and goes down. You have seen a man who dies a few minutes before, when he dies, how he dies. You have seen? Now watch again, if you have a chance. He will die like this. Finish. The last sound of H will come and it will not touch the attraction, the inhalation sound, and you are died. So the last part of the H which is still there, the moment it breaks, finish. You are no more. You are not contacting attraction. Perhaps you have understood practically. Perhaps you will understand sometime, some of it. Yeah? Word?
Absolutely. Yes, if it'll work for an atheist. You're looking at an ex-atheist, one who does not believe in God. Can it work?
You see, we are very clever people in the modern time. We say, we will believe in God, and some say, no, I will not believe in God. We are supreme, we reject and accept God, you see. We are so powerful right now. We say we will believe God, and we say, no, we will not believe God. So we are supreme. First we are, and we are making decision on God. Actually, if something we have to understand, God is still there automatically. Without that, you can't even sit before us. It is working. It is the base of your living. You have no power to select it or to reject it. Impossible. It is our own mistake when we say, oh, I will accept God. Why? On what ground you have the saying that you will accept God and you reject the God? You itself. The basis. So understand, hit the basis. That's all. Hmm? Oh, you see, the sages said in Upanishads we find this. Eko hanso bhuvnasya madhe saevagni salle sannivishta tameva viditvadana mrityumeti nanya pantha anyaya ena. One Hans is living in the whole of the world, and it is living as the fire dwells in water. By knowing that, you will know everything in the world, and then comes, there is no other way than this. They said it. I have no power to say about it. Sages. And they said about this. And you will know something. You see, life is, again, don't forget, I have certain limitations. I will talk up to the level of theory. That is half. Circle, half. So half is theory. The other part, when I have to again tell you something, that is practical. And that is given by instructions. That's why this knowledge of the sages was incomplete till you have a practical instruction. After that, after taking instruction from Guruji, I will perhaps tell you the later half of the knowledge, which is hidden, and you will perhaps satisfy yourself. Okay, I think it's really fine. We have to finish right now.
Ramesh, this gentleman has asked something I think a lot of them would like to know. For those of you who cannot remain right after and who do not have the fruit or the flower for instruction, Ramesh will write a phone number that you may call at the time he so designates. This is between Fairfax and between Fairfax and La Cienega on the south side of Olympic. Is there any special time between 3 and 6? Or between 3 and 6 in the afternoon, yes, ma'am. Oh, you mean right here or in this country? Right here, half an hour. Yes.
Thank you very much.
You don't have that.
No. I want to say to all of you who are generous enough to give us your time that this was made so very possible by our most gracious hostess here, Ruth Taylor of the Hatha Yoga Club. And thank you for your attendance.
And I would like to say something that, say, 13 years ago, Ruth Taylor came to India, and it was incidentally that she met Guruji in a little cottage near Bombay. And after 13 years, it is a great opportunity to us that we are meeting her again, and she has organized this meeting. And she has also done a lot of work for us to do this, and in Loyola University also yesterday. So I thank her very much on the behalf of Guruji and myself. How many gurus you have made so far? Every time in the life we have to make a guru. Means in the university and this, So for this instruction also, since you are going to know the life and death, if you have an interest or you have a physical interest, perhaps you will heal yourself physically. That's all. But you need a guru, of course. So you will become a disciple, of course, on that basis. But if you are not satisfied, you have to change guru again. Why not? You are free to do. Yeah. That's all.
Yes. We will start the instruction for whoever has brought fruit and flour. And if you don't have it, we'll be here for a half an hour if any of you wish to return with it. You'll be instructed in the breathing. Fruit and flour, and a donation of whatever you can afford.